Marvel Rivals promises to add a ton of heroes over the coming years. But which Marvel characters would make great duelists? Let's have a look. The Rivals team confirmed that they will be adding a new hero every 6 weeks, 2 every season. That is 8 a year, which will leave us with very little room in the selection screen. But it also makes me wonder which heroes they're going to add next. Now, before we start, I know that quite a few of them have leaked already, but I don't talk about leaks. I try to keep my content as spoiler-free as possible, just for fun, which allows me to make videos like this, where I list 10 Marvel characters that I think would make great duelists for Marvel Rivals. Now, this list is personal. There are literally hundreds, if not thousands, of characters for them to choose from. So you might have a completely different idea. But that's fine, just tell me in the comments who you would pick. But first, let's go over my list, because this is my channel. I'm going to start out with a rather obvious choice. A character that is on a lot of these wish lists, including mine, Deadpool. Now, I have to be honest, I was actually thinking of replacing him with Daredevil, because Daredevil's cool too. But I ended up sticking with Deadpool for several reasons. The most important one being his continuous breaking of the fourth wall. I think that would create a lot of unique opportunities for Marvel Rivals that very few other heroes can offer. And they can apply that to his kit, to his voice lines and interactions. So, yeah, I'm kind of curious what they would do with the Deadpool. And I'm going to keep Daredevil as a backup, as a 1.5 or something. Number 2 on my list is Gamora. I always liked Gamora, even before Zoe Saldana played her in the MCU. I don't know what it is exactly. I think that is a conversation I'll need to have with my therapist in the next session. I like angry women. Anyways. Combat-wise, she brings a lot of melee abilities to the table. A lot of agility, but not nearly as much as Spider-Man or an Iron Fist. I think she would be closer to Wolverine, but then with a sword instead of claws. A hero that also wields a sword and that I put in this list, merely because I think we need a little more of his vibe in games like this, is the Black Knight, Dana Whitman. His style is definitely a little slower than it is with Gamora, more of those hard-hitting swings. And he can summon armor and shields for himself. So yeah, he can be a bit of a duelist Vanguard hybrid, like Mr. Fantastic is. But then with a very dramatic flair. Someone that is a lot faster is Quicksilver. Very difficult to make work in a game like this. There are others that tried and that decided to step away from mechanics like this. And with mechanics like this, I mean speed. That is basically his whole thing. But I do think there are some creative ways of fixing it. And Marvel Rivals specifically kind of thrives on all of these overpowered abilities, disruptive abilities, big showstoppers. In other words, in Marvel Rivals, you can get away with slowing everybody down so you can punch them in the face one by one. Or maybe you just kind of tie their shoelaces together. That would be a Quicksilver thing to do. Alright, time for another double feature, aka I couldn't decide on just one hero, so I'm throwing 2 in here and acting like I actually made a choice. As a metalhead, I think Marvel Rivals can use a little more edge. A little more occult, a little more dark. And that is to outbalance very cute sharks or girls shooting acorns that they get from their pet squirrel. So in that team, I was thinking about maybe Ghost Rider. He uses a chain, he rides a bike or a horse. Well, he rides quite different stuff. And he has a flaming skull. That is about as metal as you can go. Very good selling points and high on the edge meter. But then I was thinking, this is a bit of a vampire season that we're having right now, right? And the story that this season is based on actually featured Blade. How about we add him as a duelist? I don't know, he could infect people, drain their blood, swallow their souls, you know, all that kind of stuff. Especially after that big comeback in the latest Deadpool movie. Would be nice. Maybe. One day. Hopefully. Or maybe they can add both of them. Wink. Now, a way to solve all of my predicaments of these double features would be to add Mystique. She can literally shift in anybody. Now, I know that Loki can do something similar, but hear me out. What if that is kind of her main thing? Where she basically becomes the reverse Uno card. She can become the extra tank, the extra support, whatever the team needs, and that is available to copy in their own or the enemy team. And not just for a few seconds, throughout the match. You know what? She looked good doing it. What do I have with all these angry women, man? On top of that, they're all blue or green. Talking about green. Green Goblin. Lobbing grenades, flying around on his glider. Maybe he has a grapple ability. I can just hear his maniacal laugh echo over, well, any map possible. He would be a ton of fun to play. Can you imagine all the interactions he can have with some of the heroes like Spider-Man, but there's definitely more. And the skins or costumes that they can make for Green Goblin? Now really, I'm super excited for this idea as I'm talking about it. These are two of my favorite Marvel characters ever, and both of them are X-Men, which is not a coincidence. X-Men is where I started out in Marvel. Those were the first comics I read when I was a young wee lad. The first one is Nightcrawler, Kurt Wagner from Bavaria. Schmetterling! Yeah, that's about all the German I know. He is the son of Raven, aka Mystique, and Azazel, one of the oldest mutants that was around. So you could actually do this family thing within the roster. Yeah, because Magneto is in there too. That would get interesting. His teleportation skill would add something unique to the game. I know there's other people that kind of use portals and whatnot, but the fun thing about Nightcrawler is that he can displace himself instantly from one spot to the other, but also take someone, in some cases a few people along. And that is why I almost considered him for the next video, the strategist video. But still, I think he would make a great duelist strategist hybrid. He could be either, but I always loved this character. He is very misunderstood. He is an introvert with the look of, well, I'm not going to say an outrovert, but he definitely draws attention. He has a rather difficult past. My favorite Marvel hero, however, is the complete opposite of Nightcrawler. Gambit, Remy LeBeau. From New Orleans. I was trying to do the accent in the previous takes, but yeah, my New Orleans accent, it's not good. But anyways, he was raised by thieves and he has that kind of pirate vibe to himself. He's funny, he's witty, he's confident, and his abilities are some of the most fun in all of the Marvel universe. He can charge any object with kinetic energy, and one of the objects he charges the most are playing cards. And that's because they are quite easy for him to charge. They're small. The bigger they are, the more time it takes for him to charge anything. But basically, he's lobbing around these cards that have an explosive effect when landing. On top of that, he uses his staff as his main weapon. It's just a nice and interesting combo. It would work great in Marvel Rivals. No kidding, like the day they add Gambit, it is going to be a real Marvel game for me personally. For the final character on this list, I wanted to pick something goofy. Something very different but also very deadly. And I had a huge list, a ton of things, a ton of characters on there. Ranging from Howard the Duck, who I did not find to be lethal enough, to Big Wheel, who was deadly, but I don't know. And then it dawned on me. Well, one of my cats walked by. Goose the Flerken, the deadliest cat in the MCU. It would be hilarious to have Goose in your team. Running around the battlefield. Before the match starts, take a little nap, rub against your leg, purr. And as soon as that door opens, tentacles everywhere. Yeah, I might be getting a little too excited now. Anyways, those were my 10+2 heroes that I would like to see as duelists in Marvel Rivals. But like I said, let me know in the comments which heroes you would pick. I look forward to reading them all. Now, somewhere in the next few weeks, I'm going to do the final video in this series where I'm going to look at the strategists that I would like to see. I did Vanguards already 2 weeks ago. And I'll possibly redo this list as the roster grows in a few months and a few years, something. However, for now, that was it. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. It always helps me out. I also want to thank my members. I could not make these videos without you guys. You too can join the Damesies family by becoming a member right here on YouTube. If you have a few minutes left, maybe check out one of my other videos. But above all, make sure to subscribe because I'll be back with a new video very soon. Till then, take care of yourself, take care of each other. Bye-bye.